There are many ways of playing Magic the Gathering, and the most powerful commonly played format is called Legacy. The decks are insanely expensive and the games are lightning fast.
And every decision matters.
We've had our subscribers at home vote for one deck to represent each year since Legacy's inception, and then had Legacy specialists play in a 7-round tournament.
And now we finally have it. We have a top 8 of what could possibly be the best Legacy decks of all time.
And after 7 videos, we'll finally be able to crown the best Legacy deck ever. Jamin, I'm scared.
You have. I was about to, hold a speech of how broken my deck is, but if you're already scared, I don't. I don't even need to.
But I have Force of Will, which is my safety comfort blocker.
How do you know you have Force of Will? You haven't even looked.
It's my commander. I forgot my commander. I'm gonna mulligan. This is the best Legacy deck ever series. The best decks of the most powerful format. So the decks are gonna do crazy things. Now we're playing Snoko. You see Oko in my hand right here. This deck is just a soup that is brewed with all the most powerful cards. But Jamin is playing a deck called Flash Hulk. And it can win on turn 0 before I even play a land. So because of that, we can't afford to keep a hand that doesn't have a free counterspell. This one doesn't have any.
I will keep this.
Darn it.
Flash Hulk is often referred to as one of the most broken combo decks of all time, and my starting hand shows why. Once I resolve the card Flash, and I put a Protean Hulk into play and my opponent doesn't interact with me, I win the game on the spot.
That means you probably have a card that starts with F and a card that starts with P. This hand is much better. I have a free counterspell, and I have a removal spell in case he can only combo on turn 2. I'll keep this.
All right.
You didn't see anything.
I didn't see anything.
Just a bit to the bottom.
I will play an Underground Sea.
Yes.
And I will cast a Chrome Mox. Now, Chrome Mox. A good Mox.
It has the word Mox in it.
It's got to be good. It's a 0-mana artifact like most Moxes, and it has Imprint. When it comes into play, I exile a card from my hand that's not a land. And I will choose Counterbalance.
This is a fitting start for something that's trying to be the best deck of all time.
Because now this Chrome Mox creates mana for tapping of the color of the card I imprinted.
Which is blue.
Tap both of my cards and cast Flash.
You have 3 cards in hand.
I do have 3 cards in hand. Now Flash, choose a creature card from your hand and put that creature card into play as though it was just played. Pay the creature's casting cost reduced by up to 2. If you cannot, bury that creature. Now, that just means I have to sacrifice
That's terrible.
It's pretty bad. Does this resolve?
It's not terrible enough. I would like to Force of Will, which is a spell where I can exile a card from my hand that is blue, this Teferi, lose 1 life to play it for free, and then it just reads counter target spell. Because for context, this deck is called Flash Hulk, and this is 50% of that.
Usually, when a deck is called after a card, you
counter that card.
Yeah, but is your deck called Force of Will? Force of Oko? Force of Oko. Because I'll counter that. I'll cast Daze. Now Daze is a counter spell that makes you pay 1 more mana, but I don't have to pay the 2 mana to cast it. I can also return an island to my hand instead of...
Welcome to Legacy, all the spells are free.
So would you like to pay 1 more to resolve your
unfortunately cannot. And I will just have to hope that your hand has an island and 2 more islands.
I mean, it does have an island, but my other card is a Protean Hulk. Now, you might ask, how are you going to pay for a 7-mana creature? The joke is, I won't. Now, Protean Hulk is a 6/6 for 7 mana, so in theory, to keep it in play, I would have to pay another 5 mana. But this way I have to sacrifice it, and when Protean Hulk goes to the graveyard, I get to search my library for any number of creature cards that have a converted mana cost of a total of 6 or less. Let me check my library. Let's see what I got. I found creatures.
You have some in your deck?
I do. There's a Carrion Feeder, staple from Hogek times, for example, and a Karmic Guide. Now, Carrion Feeder gets to sacrifice creatures to put +1/+1 counters on itself, and Karmic Guide reads Flying, Protection from Black, Echo, okay, we don't care about this, but when it enters the battlefield, I get to return target creature card from my graveyard to the battlefield. I'll take the Protean Hulk.
It's back.
It's back! Now I get to sacrifice my Protean Hulk to the Carrion Feeder to give it +1/+1. Can you
That's
imagine?
how you win!
That's how I win. Now I get another Protean Hulk trigger. Another card famous for comboing with different cards is Kiki Jiki. Now Kiki Jiki is a 2/2 goblin with haste that taps to create a copy token of a different creature. Now I will tap Kiki Jiki to create a copy token of Karmic Guide. But with this copy token or ability on the stack, I will sacrifice my Kiki-Jiki to the Carrion Feeder to give it +1/+1! And then the copy of the Karmic Guide enters play. It's a Karmic Guide, so I get to return something from my graveyard. How about this Kiki-Jiki? Now, you might see where this is going. I will create another copy, and in response, sacrifice this to the Carrion Feeder. Then the Karmic Guide enters, and I get back my Kiki-Jiki. I'll thus create a bunch of Karmic Guides, which also make my Carrion Feeder very big.
And what are you going to do with your Karmic Guides?
This one doesn't have haste.
No.
Stays back to block, even though it can't block. All these Karmic Guides will head into the red zone with haste. And this Kiki-Jiki too.
That was pretty good.
It was!
Next game. Well, that's just how games against Flash Hulk go sometimes. Luckily, my deck is full of interaction, and I'm going to bring a lot more in. Jamin's whole deck is focused around this pivotal one moment where he plays this one card. If I just cancel that out, I can outgrind him and outpower him easily.
For game 2, I won't be on the play, and I expect Carl to have more interaction after boarding. Still, I don't sideboard anything myself because I don't need ley lines, I don't want Kirin Dryads because I feel like Oko just makes them obsolete, so I'll just leave the deck as it is.
Would you flash if you don't have a Force of Will to back it up?
Generally, yes, of course.
Thank you for the free information. In that case, I'll keep.
Now this opening hand doesn't have the flashiness of the first one, but also, as I said, I expect more interaction from Carl this game. It still very much does the trick. I'll keep 2.
I'll play an island. It's a snow-covered island, so it's cold. Ooh. Oh, yeah. And play Neil Spellbomb with it.
Now that gives me more shivers than that one.
It does, because if I sacrifice it, I exile all cards from target player's graveyard. And as we saw last game, Jamin needs his graveyard to win.
Nihil Spellbomb is really annoying because once I get the Karmic Guide in the combo to reanimate the Protean Hulk, Carl can crack the Spellbomb, I can't return the Protean Hulk, I lose my Karmic Guide into the graveyard because I can't pay Echo, and then future combos also are really bad. But I've got a plan. I both have Echoing Truth in hand, so if I want to, I can like stall out the game a bit, force through an Echoing Truth, and then force through a Flash when the Nihil Spellbomb isn't on the battlefield anymore. I will draw. I'll play an island, and I think I'll pass the turn.
Oh, yours isn't even cold.
No, it's a warm, regular island.
It's better for swimming.
Yeah.
I will draw. I'm going to play Snow-Covered Forest and use it to play another 1-mana artifact. This one cost 1 snow, which is really specific. Also, Jamin, this card is banned.
Yeah.
Which is not obvious when you first look at it. It just cycles, so when it enters the battlefield, I draw a card, and then I can tap it and pay 1 to transform that land that tapped into any color of mana. So this island is a Painless City of Brass. And I'll pass the turn.
All right, yes, I will draw. I'll play Polluted Delta,
Yes.
and I'll pass the turn.
Yeah, there's nothing I want to do. I have a counterspell in hand as protection, but I'm not doing anything right now. And if I sit on my counterspell, Jamin has time to build up a wall of his own counterspells and he can force through his combo. Luckily, I have one of the most potent threats of the game in my hand. So we're gonna tap out, but we still have backup to protect ourselves, and we need to put a clock.
Oh, Ko.
Oh, yes. This is Oko Thief of Crowns, famous for being banned in almost every format. It's a planeswalker with 4 loyalty, but if you tick it up to 6, you create a food token. But if you only tick it up to 5, what it cost, you can transform target artifact or creature into a 3/3 elk. It does lose all its abilities. I missed. This is an elk. It's a 3/3.
All right, so here's an opening. Carl is tapped out, and potentially I could resolve a flash. Now, I can't combo, but the effect to search your library for creature cards with a total CMC of 6 is still pretty strong. So at end of turn, I will fetch.
I forgot we had another game because it just says 19 of them.
I will take 1. And I will also take an Underground Sea, and I'll try to flash.
Yeah, flash happens.
Yeah. I'll put in a Protean Hulk, I'll sack the Protean Hulk because I can't pay for it. Now, I feel like if I get a Karmic Guide, you'll sack that Spellbomb, and then I can't even pay Echo. How about a Dark Confident, joined by a Dark Confident and a Dark Confident?
And this is during my turn.
Yes. I'll untap, trigger. I'll take 0.
very good.
White source for Echo. I'll take 2.
2.
And I'll take
Protean Hulk.
2. Oh, another flash.
You just drew 3 cards. Would you like to draw another one?
Yes, I would like to move into my draw stand. I can't leave that Oko on the board because otherwise it will just come stealing my Dark Confidence. So I think now is the time to use my Echoing Truth to force through my Dark Confidence. I leave the Nihil Spellbomb there. It does what it does. It prevents me from comboing, but I just push through these Dark Confidence to the very end. I will play a Tundra, and I will cast Echoing Truth.
Oh, we can't play the Force of Negation because we saw Jamin reveal a Daze with the Dark Confident, and we can't pay for it. He'll just counter it. And we don't want to burn it here, so we're going to keep that Force of Negation for later in the game when we can't afford to pay for it. Let's fight over another spell that's maybe more important.
It returns target non-land permanent and all other permanents with the same name as that permanent to their owner's hand. I'll target that Arkham's Astrolabe.
That was the only thing protecting my Oko.
It was, and thus all my Dark Confidence will attack that Oko.
Oh boy, my position is not as good as I thought it was a few turns ago. Luckily, my deck is just full of juice. I'll play Flooded Strand, and because you know about it, I'll play an Arkham's Astrolabe.
Sure.
It used to be an Elk.
But now it's back to being
It'll draw me a card.
an artifact.
I'll pass the turn and hope you drew 3 Protean Hulks.
I'll untap, and you are right. They also hurt me, so I'm gonna spend my upkeep casting a Brainstorm. Iconic Legacy card.
It is.
I'll draw 3 cards, and then I'll need to put 2 of them back. 1, 2, 3. Like this.
I feel like I'm gonna see them in a second.
Yes. Trigger, trigger, trigger.
Yes.
It's a Mystical Tutor. Another Brainstorm. And another Brainstorm.
So you go down to 12.
I do. And then I take my draw for turn.
Does that mean you just have no lands in hand?
Maybe I'll head into the red zone.
Yes. So you're also dealing me damage. I don't want that to happen so much. So I'm gonna turn this swamp into a green mana, play a blue, and I'll play an Ice Fang Coatl. Back in the days of Modern Horizons 1, this card rocked. Now not so much, but here's pretty good. It's a 1/1 flash. When it enters the battlefield, I draw a card. Does it resolve?
I will try to flash in response.
Oh. You have like a million cards in hand, right?
I have 9
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 million. Wow.
million.
I am going to attempt, by exiling this other Ice Fang Coatl, to force some negation it, which is another free counter spell. If I exile a blue card, I can only play it during your turn, which it is, and it would exile your flash. Counterspell battle. This is what Legacy's about.
I will attempt to daze your Force of Negation by returning an island to my hand. So you would need to pay 1 more.
I will fetch. Getting an Underground Sea.
Yep.
I unfortunately won't be able to pay for the Nihil Spellbomb black.
Yeah.
Because I will use it to pay for your days.
Daze is countered. This Force of Negation resolves. Flash is exiled, but I will need to daze that Ice Fang Coatl.
Oh, wow!
By returning another island to my hand.
Luckily, you have like a million cards as we've established. Yeah, I'm gonna take a lot. I go to 13.
You do go to 13. And most importantly, I get to make another land drop. I'll play a Tundra, and I will play out a Sensei's Divining Top.
Ooh.
Now, Sensei's Divining Top
Is a bad card.
and it's a 1-mana artifact. For 1 mana, I get to look at the top 3 cards of my library, put them back in any order, and I get to tap the top itself to switch it out for the top card of my deck.
I'll untap everything, draw a card. I'll go looking for another Oko. I will attempt to Brainstorm.
Yep, resolves.
I think this is how we get him. Jamin is taking himself out with these Dark Confidence. All he needs to do is flip a 5-drop at some point, or even a Protean Hulk, and he's gone. So this Teferi is a must-kill for Jamin, because it allows me to just play with impunity, and he has no counterspells. He can't play counterspells while I have a Teferi on the board. They're dead cards in his hand. They're useless cardboard. So he's going to have to attack it, and we can even protect it with our Swords to Plowshares, which he can't counterspell. He can't play any counterspell. So hopefully this Teferi just buys enough time that he takes himself out with his own creatures. I'll put these 2 on top.
Sure.
I will play a Snow-Covered Plains. I'll play 3 and play a Teferi Time Raveler.
Ooh.
So Teferi is powerful because each opponent can only cast spells anytime they can play a sorcery. So your counter spells, no good here.
Yep.
I can also -3 to return an artifact, like this one, or a creature back to your hand and I draw a card. But right now, Teferi, go into 5, and it'll be your turn.
I will untap, and during my upkeep,
You can't Brainstorm.
I can't Brainstorm, but there are still 3 triggers, and I could activate the Sensei's Divining Top. Let's see how the first few triggers go.
Are you just following fate? You're at 12, so if it's 2 7-mana spells, you're dead.
Let's see the first one.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's 0. Okay, well, no damage done. And if I check the first one, I might as well check the second one. Another
that's
days.
2. Okay, 10.
And then for the last one, I won't do anything. It can't go wrong. No.
Let's see. Oh, wow.
That was very lucky. Seeing how I'm very constrained on mana, I'll play an island, and I will attempt to cast a Counterbalance.
Oh no.
Now, Counterbalance is an enchantment that says whenever an opponent casts a spell, I may reveal the top card of my library. If I do, counter that spell if it has the same converted mana cost as the revealed card.
I just said in the interview how I was safe from your counter spells. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to do this now. I'm gonna pay 1 green. I'm gonna transform it into 1 white. And I will source to Plowshares, Bob. I'll exile a creature and you gain life equal to its power. This is on the stack.
This is on the stack. I can't counterspell. Still.
This resolves.
Yes, indeed. I will still cast a Chrome Mox, imprint a Daze, because a counterspell doesn't look too good in the face of Teferi. And I will head into the red zone to attack Teferi. And then I'll also cast a Brainstorm during my main phase, because I can't do it at instant speed. So I'll draw 1, 2, 3.
I know what I have on top of my library. So if you think it's an Oko, you put a 3-drop. If you think it's a Swords of Plowshares, you put a 1-drop.
I'll put these 2 back.
Okay. I'll untap. I will draw. I will take up Teferi. I will pass a turn.
Ooh, I like that. I will untap. Both Dark Confidence will trigger. And they'll reveal a Flash and another Sensei's Divining Top.
So you go to 9.
I'll check with the Sensei's Divining Top what's up there. I'll put them back like this, and then draw my card for turn.
Who needs Brainstorm?
I'll play a fetch land.
Yes.
Both of these Dark Confidence will have to attack Teferi.
And fortunately, that happens. Teferi's gone.
Okay, this is much better. I feel so much better now. So in that case, I'll just play another Sensei's Divining Top.
Okay.
And a Carrion Feeder.
Do you have any 5-drops on the top of your library?
Maybe.
I will hardcast a Force of Will, which in this case just reads counter target spell. Because I think that's the only card in your deck that is the sack outlet to combo.
That's a bit annoying, and I guess there's a counterbalance trigger on the stack.
Okay.
I'll respond with a Brainstorm. I'll draw 3. 1.
You could put a Karmic Guide on top.
3. Oh, I found something better. Put these 2 back.
Okay.
Then this trigger resolves. How about a Kiki Jiki?
That is better. So yeah, this is countered.
That's countered.
Because it has the same converted mana cost as Force of Will, and counterbalance works that way.
That's my turn.
Luckily, Kiki Jiki doesn't do anything unless you have Karmic Guide. I will pass a turn.
Untap. During my upkeep.
You won't take 5?
I don't want to take 5. What is this?
Is it 2 Protean Hulks and a Kiki Jiki?
It's close.
You need to do something or that kills you, yeah.
I'll get myself an island. Mm-hmm. And I will check the top again.
Okay.
Let's see if this works out better. I mean, it's not perfect.
You can also put 2 tops on the top of your library.
I could, yeah. So I will reveal 1 for 0 and 1 for 1.
Very safe.
I'll take my draw for turn. I'll activate my top again.
Okay.
Let's check the top 3 cards. Yes, that's what I wanted. No. I will activate this top to put it on top and draw a card instead. I will cast Flash.
Oh no.
I'll put a Protean Hulk. I'll sack the Protean Hulk, and I will get myself a Kiki Jiki.
Oh yeah.
Now this Kiki Jiki, extremely mighty, you could say.
I would say, yes.
I will copy a Dark Confident with it. So I've got another Dark Confident, and then I'll attack for 7.
Yeah, I take 7.
Before this token dies, now check out the synergy. I'll sack the token to the Carrion Feeder.
Value.
Then my turn ends.
That was pretty good. You no longer can pay for the top.
I can't.
Oh. Did you put a 3-drop on top of your library?
Maybe.
Oh no, that's too real. You're an amazing actor, Jamin. I'll play 3. I'm playing a Plague Engineer. Now it has Death Touch, it's a 2/2, and when it enters the battlefield, I name a creature type. And then all the creatures of that type get -1/-1, which is pretty good because you have a lot of humans.
I will force.
So this is on the stack.
It is.
If I don't have this, I think I lose the game. I will exile your graveyard and pay black to draw a card.
Yes.
Yes.
It's all gone.
Draw a card. I will filter this for blue. So far, I've tapped this a lot.
Yeah.
Never for green. And I will attempt to brainstorm in response.
I've got a counterbalance trigger.
I know.
I'll
And
activate my top.
Not a
I'll put my top on top.
Stupid Beyblade.
Counterbalance triggers. It reveals the
Yes.
Sensei's Divining Top. Brainstorm is countered.
My only saving grace, Jamin, is that you no longer have top,
I don't.
and you're at 6.
I am.
So if the card after the top is a karmic guide, you lose.
Would you like to watch a cool trick?
You have a brainstorm.
I'll cast a Brainstorm. I'll draw 3 cards. I'll put 2 back. Dark Confidence trigger. They
Yes.
will reveal 2 lands.
Very well done.
And I'll head into the red zone.
Good game.
Good games.
Flash Hulk to the top 4, Snoko to the floor.
All right.